In Retardanistan, we like to side with the Russians. The Russians are our friends. Unfortunately, they're not. The Russians have determined they don't like South Africa much.
And this is the news that Russia has made a list of countries. Normally when you're on the list you should be a bit worried, but in this particular case they made a list of friendly countries to Russia, and therefore if you are on the list of friendly countries you're going to get certain benefits from Russia. Fortunately, South Africa is not on that list, despite the ANC's incessant support for the Russian regime.
Now, we have seen this in Retardanistan, where we side with lots of other countries because, they're our friends. But the problem is that those countries themselves don't like doing business with South Africa because they don't view us as being their friends. In this instance, the list actually determines entrepreneurs and enterprises and whether or not it's business friendly to work in South Africa. And as we've heard from the ANC many times, who wants to work with the West? We can work with China and Russia. Only China and Russia are saying it's pretty shit to work in South Africa. Retardanistan, what we do is we alienate the West because we get to work with the East, and then the East says, we don't want to work with you, so we have no one to work with.
Just think about it in this way. Here are the countries that did make the list. Malaysia, Kuwait, Turkmenistan, if that's even a country, I have no idea. Oman, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, the country where Borat comes from, made the list. But South Africa did not make the list. Here is the scenario. The South African government will support Russia to the hilt and extract no concessions whatsoever from the Russian Federation. South Africa could have a variety of benefits from Russia because they are a global powerhouse of resources. And despite all these things that South Africa does for the Russian Federation, the Russian says, "Nyet, not good enough."
The West always says South Africa is not business friendly. It has all these race laws and no electricity and no water. They all say, we'd love to do business there, but it's a shithole. And we can't really figure out how to do business there because your labor laws suck. You always want to steal our shit with expropriation, and then you just want to nationalize everything. And the people that you nationalize it with are just retarded. We are Retardanistan after all. But the ANC government doesn't seem to understand this. And they go, yeah, but at least the Russians will support us. Turns out the Russians have the same concern as the rest of the world, mate. They also don't like us for the exact same reasons. So where does this leave us?
Well, up shit creek without a particular paddle. No one likes South Africa because it's the retarded ginger stepchild of the world. The West doesn't trust us. The Russian thinks we're not that important. So now what are we left with? Right? Like Zimbabwe? Like that will be our trading partner in years to come? This is a deeply unserious government we have right here in South Africa. If you're going to alienate the West, who happen to be the biggest trading partners, at least get some concessions for that. But they can't even do that. They can't even build a nuclear reactor from Russia, who are world leaders in this. They can't do anything right.
Why is it that what Russia says is actually really important? And the answer is that right now, this very week, South Africa is set to renegotiate AGOA. In order for us to negotiate this, we need tact and brains so that we can navigate the entire minefield that is the impending trade war between the US and South Africa's preferred trade partner of the Chinese. Now, Ramon, two words that never usually come to my mind when discussing the ANC is one, tact. The other one is being super majestic. I mean, obviously we know Cyril's majestic, right? But only majestic in his retardedness.
Indeed, that is the case. So AGOA will be renewed, as we did say on the show, for the longest period of time. And guess what? South Africa will be in exactly the same position as it was before. It's important to note that AGOA is important for America because it dumps cheap stuff in South Africa without any cost whatsoever, destroys our local industries, and we call this trade. We have suffered greatly by supporting Russia. The Lady R scenario has destroyed our currency. We have voted against the US and the West in the UN itself. And sooner or later, the US and the West are going to say to themselves, this South African stepchild, retarded as he is, it's not a good guy. Maybe we should just cut ties completely. And when that happens, there's no backup in the world. Russia thinks we're retarded. China doesn't care about us. India doesn't know we exist on the particular map. This is Foreign Policy Retardation 101. And I think it exemplifies the ANC's rule extremely well.
Retardanistan, the place where our greatest export is retarded ideas.